Hello and Assalamu alaikum dear students. I hope you all are doing well and that you are enjoying our videos and that online teaching and learning is fun. I hope everybody is safe at their homes and everybody is following the COVID-19 SOPs. In this week's video, we are going to talk about the writing process, and as you would have already watched a video by Sir Farhan Bhutto where he spoke about how writing is a skill and that how we have to follow a certain process in order to write effectively and efficiently. So as Farhan also mentioned that the very first step in the writing process is pre-writing. In this video I'm going to talk about different pre-writing techniques, and let's go ahead. So what is pre-writing? Pre-writing is anything that you write before your actual first draft. So as the word suggests, pre means before, right? So something that a writer uses to prepare for writing, to prepare himself or herself for writing. Anything that you write before your first draft is counted as your pre-writing. So that's not your actual writing. This is just the preparation for your writing. Okay. And why do you think is it needed? Well, pre-writing is very important because pre-writing helps you to explore or to generate ideas about a certain topic. Now, many a times students have problem in getting started. They are given a topic, but then they don't really know what ideas should they put in. Well, everybody has once in their life written an essay on the cow, right? When we ask you to write an essay on the cow, everyone is like, well, cow is a domestic animal and blah 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 blah. Oh, we all have done this, right? But when it comes to a different topic, for example, we ask you to write about how internet is sort of harmful for the youth of Pakistan. Okay, now you all know there are so many uses of internet, but when you think about its let's say the cons or how the side effects or the harmful effects of internet, then you will have to think about it, right? So in order to explore or to generate different ideas about a certain topic, we really suggest you to start thinking about it. Go ahead and do a pre-writing before you just grab a paper and start writing whatever comes to your mind. We strongly suggest that we follow a process, and the very first step in this is to sort of explore different ideas, whatever we have in our mind regarding that topic, and then we may later sort things out. The second important reason is that when you start doing pre-writing, sometimes we realize that we don't have enough details about it. So why don't we go ahead and do some research? So for example, we ask you to write about Mohenjo-daro, right? Many people might know about it, others might not. So the student who doesn't really know many details about it would like to go Google it and would like to go read about it, or to sort of just start start looking for certain details. So again, this helps you to begin your research about a topic. Thirdly, it helps you to organize your thoughts. Now, when you just when we ask you to speak about a certain topic or write about a certain topic, then you might have many ideas about it, but they may not be very well organized, right? Normally what students do is we ask them to write an essay on your first day at university, and they would start like, oh, this happened and that happened and I was very happy, but this happened, and then I went to admin block, and then I got my documents verified, then I was looking for my class, then I came to my class, then this, then that. So you write so many things, and then haphazardly there are details that might not suit a particular place, right? So if you start writing without proper pre-writing, then the organization of your thoughts might not be very effective. So pre-writing helps you to organize your thoughts. Now moving on, as you know that writing could be sometimes very frightening, and it is very frightening for some students most of the times. Students sometimes have a blank paper in front of them and a pen in their hand and a topic, but they don't know what to write. They are sort of scared of starting it, and that's normal. It happens, And it just doesn't happen with you as students or we as teachers, it also happens with the best-selling authors in the world. So it's natural. It's called the writer's block. When you don't have anything to write, when you're stuck somewhere and you just cannot write. So in order to move past that, in order to sort of overcome your writer's block, it is highly suggested to start a pre-writing technique. When you do pre-writing, your brain sort of keeps on sending signal to your hand that you have to keep writing, and then it sort of this thing comes into your mind that you just have to write about something, right? You don't have to write perfectly. It just doesn't have to be absolutely flawless. It can have many flaws, it can have many errors, but this is not actual writing. This is just the preparation, and so everything is acceptable. Right, after we've talked about the importance of pre-writing, I would now move on and talk about which pre-writing techniques are we going to cover in this video, or in this series of videos, let's say. So in the first video that I'm making, the one that you're watching just now, I'm going to talk about two pre-writing techniques. Number one is free writing, and the other one is focused free writing. And in the next video, you will be watching brainstorming, mind mapping, and something about outlining. So let's talk about free writing. What is free writing? Well, free writing is, as the name suggests, free. You are absolutely free to write anything that comes to your mind. So all you have to do is sit down and write whatever is on your mind. You give yourself a time limit, for example, 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Sometimes students might give themselves 30 minutes. But the only criteria is that you have to keep writing. You just don't have to stop. You don't have to be focused about a particular topic. You don't have to have perfect details about something, but you just need to have this dedication that I'm going to start now and I will not stop writing until the next 5 minutes. So you do not stop writing, you just write something, anything that comes to your mind. If you don't have anything to write, you can even write the sentence saying, I don't have anything to write. I have just been asked to do free writing and I don't have anything to write. And this is so much fun. You would enjoy doing free writing, because this is where you overcome your writer's block. This is where your brain keeps on sending signals to your hand that you have to write. You just need to keep writing, and you can do it. So writing just does not remain frightening anymore. You overcome that feeling, that overwhelming feeling, and you are now free to write it, and that you have finally started writing. But remember that no idea is a bad idea, right? No idea is a bad idea when you're free writing, which means you can write about any detail. It could be irrelevant, it could be out of the box, could be anything, and nobody's going to judge you for that. That's why do not erase anything. Now no one's going to check this draft. When you're free writing, it's just an exercise for your mind and your hand muscles, and for you to sort of come in this zone of writing. Okay, you're not going to submit this thing to your teacher. A teacher will not come and say, hey everybody, come on now, 5 minutes free writing and everyone is submitting it, I'm going to give you marks on this. No, we don't ask you to do that, right? So you don't have to erase anything. You're going to write anything that you want. And at this point of pre-writing, in this technique, there is no compulsion of correct grammar. You don't have to worry about correct grammar or correct spelling or correct punctuation. And that's why we call it free writing, right? You're free from all those rules. You don't have to worry about the correct spelling of a word. You don't have to worry about, am I writing in present tense or past tense? Did I start with past tense and did I just end up in writing in future tense? What am I doing? You don't have to worry about any of that, right? You just have to keep writing. And when is this technique useful? It is useful when you want to start a writing assignment, or when you're thinking about a topic, or you're sorting through the thoughts that you have about about any topic or about all the topics in the world, right? Free writing once again I would sort of summarize it. It is a technique where we ask you to give yourself a time limit and just write anything that comes to your mind, and there is no compulsion of correct grammar. You don't have to worry about grammars or spellings or punctuation. Even ideas could be anything. Okay, now let's look at a sample. This is sample 1 for free writing. This one's from your book. This is on page number 33 in your books. I have just been asked to free write. Now what should I write? I have not read any of the books I had planned to read during the holidays. I'm very lazy. I need to get out of this laziness and do something. Although being lazy is fun, it's not really a good thing, because you don't do a lot of the things you really would like to do. But then you do at least one thing you really love to do, and that is to sleep. Haha, that's a lazy person's topmost priority. I've been writing about laziness for 5 minutes now. My friend next to me is still writing, but I have finished. So you see, what has this student done? She was just asked to write for 5 minutes and she started writing. She didn't know what she's writing about, but then she comes up with an idea and she sort of continues that idea. And you can also see that there might be repetition of words, but that's okay. The ideas are not making a perfect sense, but what she's doing is she's finally writing. That's why it's called free writing. Now let's have a look at another sample. There are lots of things I get annoyed by. One of them that comes to my mind is politicians. In fact, I'm so annoyed by them that I don't want to say anything about them. The last thing I want is to write about them. Another thing that bothers me are people who keep complaining about everything. If you're having trouble, do something about it. Just don't keep complaining and just talking. I'm really annoyed by traffic. There are too many cars in a block, and it's not surprising. Everyone has a car. The parents have a car, and the parents are just too indulgent, and the kids have cars, and they're all coming and going all the time, and often driving too fast, speeding up and down the street. We need a speed limit sign. But here I am back with politics again. I'm really bothered when I have to drive to the movies. All the congestion along the way, plus there are just so many cars there at the mall. No space. Even though the parking lot is huge, it just fills up with cars. Movies are a bother anyway, because the people can be annoying who are sitting there in the theater with you, talking and dropping popcorn cups and acting like okay. So right, it just doesn't cover in the screen, but you get the idea that when you look at the sample, you see that there are so many spelling errors, and that the student is jumping from one idea to another, but it's okay. All of this is acceptable because it is free writing. Let's see how many ideas does she have. She starts with the things that annoy her, okay, and then she moves on to politicians. Mind the spelling of politicians in the first sentence. Yes, it is incorrect, but that's okay, because right now we are not concerned with correct spellings and grammar. Now she says that she's annoyed by politicians. Then she jumps on to people who complain about everything, and then she talks about how traffic annoys her, and how there is so much traffic around her, and how there is no speed limit sign in her area. And then she says, I'm back to politics. But then she talks about how movie going is an annoyance for her. So she says there are so many reasons that she doesn't like to go to the movies. She's jumping from one idea to another, and she's also not worried about proper coherence or proper connection of ideas or correct spellings or punctuation or grammar. Why is that so? Because she's doing free writing. You all can also try free writing. It's super fun, it's very easy, and it's one of the easiest techniques in free writing. But what it does is it gives you a lot of ideas. Consider sample 2. This student she might want to write an essay about the things that annoy her, right? So she starts generally, and then she talks about all those things that annoy her, and see how different ideas are being generated. She jumps from one idea to another, but all these ideas are being generated because she is thinking on paper. She is sort of writing everything, every thought that comes to her mind, and that's not just thinking, it's not just loud thinking, it's also thinking on paper because she is writing them down. Now, moving on to our second pre-writing technique. This is called focused free writing. Now, dear students, as you see that the word, that the name itself suggests, it is free writing, but it is focused. Now, all the rules that you have for free writing are applied here as well. This is same as free writing, but it is a little more focused. How is it focused? Because this is a free writing on a given topic. That topic could be a word, could be a phrase, could be an idea, could be a statement, could be anything. So what you're doing is all the rules apply, all the rules that we have just spoken about apply here as well. You will write everything that comes to your mind, but about a certain topic. So for example, I ask you to do a focused free writing on Sukkur IBA's library, or I ask you to do a focused free writing on Mathematics Resource Center, or I ask you to do a focused free writing on the Writing Center of Sukkur IBA, right? So I'm sort of giving you a topic, but I'm also giving you this leverage that you can, I'm sorry.